What's up, everybody, and welcome to Pillow Talk, Moment with the Mobleys. I am Johnnie Mobley Jr.,
And I'm Deirdra Mobley,
and we are an ordinary couple.
with extraordinary purpose. Greetings, salutations, accolades, and blessings.
Yes, so
How y'all doing?
hope everyone is doing well this morning, staying safe, being smart and wise, because he gave you a mind to think, make decisions and choices.
Great choices.
Great choices.
Mr. Mobley, how are you this morning?
I am very well. I feel good. It's a beautiful morning.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee on point.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
You ain't said the most important part of
And I got this beautiful
Oh,
woman
nah.
in front of me that I can look at right now and look at you and then think
That
thoughts.
take a couple points off, because you ain't said that first. That take
Well,
a
that's
couple
fine.
points
I'll
off, 'cause
double
you
up
ain't
on the
said that
points
first.
in another area.
Hey y'all, how are y'all? I am well. I'm blessed and highly favored. On top and still rising. Amen.
Are you?
Yes, I
Are
am.
you still? What does
Yes.
that phase mean anyway? That statement. What does that mean?
That I'm blessed and highly favored?
Yeah.
That I am. I'm blessed with life and health and strength and a great husband, great family,
Highly
all
favored.
that good stuff. Got a job that I can work at from the house during these times and everything
Amen.
like that. Yeah, I have the favor of the Lord upon me. Yes, Lord.
You're on top
I'm
right
on
now?
top. I'm on top. I am. And I'm still rising.
And you still
Steady
rising.
rising. Yep.
Okay. I just
I
know.
get up and put one foot in front of the other every day and do something, try to make great choices to be
Yeah.
better,
I just
live
ask
better,
'cause
be better.
a lot of people say a lot of little statements, and I don't even really
Don't
think
have a
they-
meaning behind it or don't
I
fully
don't
comprehend
understand
what it means. Yeah.
So you just say stuff.
No,
I
you
think I
know.
was talking to somebody the other day, and I said something, and I was like, I don't even really know what that means. I just been saying. You just be saying.
I think I
stuff.
remember you having a conversation, but I
Yes.
can't remember what it was
I
that you
can't
said.
remember what it was either.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't even know.
Yeah, sometimes
that
you just get caught up in cliches and you don't have a clue.
Yeah.
But I know what it means, sir.
Yeah.
It means I'm pressing forth day by day.
It's a lot of little stuff. I
Yeah.
know us as men, we got a lot of little stuff that's created. I don't know. We got man laws that never been written down ever before. Like the whole thing about going into the bathroom and you have to have a stall in between you, which I think I agree with that. A stall in between every man. Except for I guess busy places like airports and stuff like that when the flights first come in. But the whole you ain't supposed to go to the bathroom. Men, like if I got to use the bathroom, my boy got to use the bathroom, we can't go to the bathroom at the same time. But it's like 20 stalls in there. I don't understand what that is.
Well, how did we get from the saying
I just was saying,
to
it's
not
just
the
stuff.
bathroom?
It's just stuff. I need you to flow with me.
Okay.
Where you at? You ain't with me?
You done flown without me.
You know what?
You done
That's
flew
fine.
off.
That's fine.
Done
Men know what I'm
flew
talking
off.
about
He in
right
Disney
now.
World, y'all.
We have
I'm in
man
Pula.
laws
I'm in Rankin.
that
He in
ain't
Disney World.
even in
Okay.
a book.
Okay. All right.
I actually got some stuff in GPS of a Man's Journey about that kind of stuff.
You dropping these hits about this book.
Booyah! JPS of a Man's Journey, written by your boy.
Out
Check
of
me
control.
out.
Out of control. Sir,
www.IamJohnnyMobleyJr.com. Go grab one. Google it. Google it. You can find it everywhere.
Google me, baby. Google me, baby.
Um,
Let's go. No. You got off track real
right.
bad. And now you're trying to pull me back on.
Yeah.
What are we talking to the good folks about today?
So today, y'all, we gonna touch on I don't know if this is a sensitive subject for some.
It's a subject, you know.
It's a subject. So we talking about
In-laws. Are they your outlaws? You know I got a song for everything.
Every
They your
daggone thing.
in-laws. Are they your outlaws?
So we gonna
That's what we talking about
we
today,
gonna talk
y'all.
about in-laws. So your in-laws, how do you feel about them? Are they your in-laws or your outlaws?
What?
Your in-laws.
They're my in-loves and not my in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
You know that's what we done changed it up to now. You know when you love them.
Who is we?
Well, you find a lot of people who actually get along with their in-laws and genuinely love and care for them and it just gels. They say, like I say, son in loves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In loves, mother in love, father
So
in
I guess
love.
it's the
So
same thing then.
being that I met you when I was 14, your parents have. That's a long time. So it's like your parents are another set of parents for me, or a second set of parents for me. And simply because, like I said, I've known them for so long. I actually met your dad before I met your mom. And your daddy was real cool. I thought your daddy was real cool. And then I think I clicked more with your dad at first. And then I got to meet your mom and got to know her, and then we became like really, 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 really cool.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
like
And we still are. Yeah. And Johnny is still very jealous that people think that I'm his daughter. I'm her daughter versus him being her son. But, so most definitely they are my in-laws, my in-loves, and not my outlaws. Yeah. So like I said, just because I met them when I first, of course, met you. And so the same amount of time that I've known you, I've known them. And we gelled. We got along. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. It was a genuine relationship that was formed that's still there. Yeah. So, did we not, go through a few, rough times? We did. We did. Especially, with your dad at one point. But I know that because we were in kind of a icky place, and my feelings was kind of all over my sleeves and stuff like that or whatever. But even through that time, and we'll get into more into it later, but we just had to come together and talk and have a conversation. Yeah. Because in all families, disagreements happen. Misunderstandings happen. Stuff like that happen. So in the relationship, just like you in a relationship with your parents. Yeah. Or once you get married or you become joined with your husband or your wife, then you're not only coming joined with them, but it's their family. Yeah. So I can truly and honestly say that I have a great relationship with your parents. Yeah. With your family. Yeah. And so I thank God for that. Yeah. So, you like my parents, Johnny?
I mean, they're all right.
What? My parents listen to this as well, sir. So your mama better tell the truth.
Your mama and daddy already know how I feel about them. Yeah. Yeah.
How you feel about them?
Love your parents.
Love them to pieces. Yeah.
And I actually don't use the in-law nothing. Mm-hmm. My daddy is my daddy. I call him daddy, and I call my mama mama, mm-hmm. and I call your daddy pops. Mm-hmm. And I call your mama mommy.
You do.
I think that's her.
You do.
Whole name. Everybody calls her, and call JoJo and call Vanessa. So it's. I have love for all of them. Yeah. There's no love lost. Everybody has their place in our life. Mm-hmm. But that's not our primary focus. And I think they love us because of who we are. Yeah. And who we are together. Yeah. So I mean, I always say, there's when stuff happens, it the core of it comes from somewhere. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you just have to go back down the line and look at where the issue or the problem started at, and then go from there.
The disconnect.
Yeah. So I at some point in time, it was not my parents or your parents' responsibility to get us together. Mm-hmm. They just supposed to support us. Mm-hmm. It was our responsibility to get it together. Yeah. And then they support us. And I think they're pretty happy because they're stress free because they know we good. Yeah. Versus that, we have an issue like we did in the beginning, And I was with my feelings all over the place. You was with
And I
your
was
feelings.
with my feelings all over the place. Yeah.
My daddy,
Yeah.
he had his moments to where he was like, "That's my son. Ain't nobody finna hurt my son." And I was grown, but I mean, it is what it is. It's books out about being a parent, man. But
Yeah.
nobody don't know.
Yeah.
You got the. I mean, you get advice and you get guidance and direction from different books and ideas, and you equip yourself. But I mean, your kid is unique, so there's no way you gonna know, what exactly to use when a situation comes up, because your child responded a certain way. Sometimes you got to have a relationship with that kid.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing we could have done was use how they equipped us, regardless of how much equipping they did, or if it was right or wrong. We didn't focus on that. What we focused on was, once we put our lives in the bowl together, how we was going to mix this to where it'll be even and balanced.
Yeah.
And we focused on us, and some things, we did keep, from my side of the family, your side of the family. Other things we didn't, and that changes periodically through the years.
Yeah.
So one of the things we always talk about when we talk to couples is, don't be afraid to, what's the word?
Create.
Got to create your own stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what folk are afraid of. The change, the unknown, that's in your life in every area. The change and the unknown, people are afraid of, because for most men, they don't want to fail.
Yeah.
They just don't want to fail. Yeah. So they scared to pull the trigger. Second, women, what would you say what will stop a woman from actually wanting to change?
Just the fear of it.
Yeah, the fear too.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's
change is. I mean, it has to happen. In order for you to grow, change has to happen. And I can honestly say this: all change. I know some people say all change is good change. Good change. How's the saying go? All change is good change. I don't know. I can't remember how it goes. But the truth is,
but it's necessary.
Yeah,
so
the change is necessary.
Whether you think it's good or bad, you will always face the unknown with a certain amount of fear or just hesitancy. But at the end of the day, it has to happen. It has to happen.
And
so
you embrace it. Doesn't. What people don't understand is the change has to happen. The change clarifies whether you should or shouldn't.
Yeah.
And the process 90% of the time ain't easy.
Yeah. But so, I think with the reason why I brought this to you again, for us to talk about it, whatever, and like we said from the beginning, this is us. This is our life, our lessons, our journey,
right?
Things that we've experienced, things that we've talked about. Like I said, I met. We both met each other's parents fairly early, so and when we were literally children, still children. I can't even say we were young. We were young people, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Because we were 14, so technically, we were still kids. And so I know the one thing. If we would be lying if we would sit here and say everything has just always been, hunky dory. It's always been great. It's always been excellent, and what we also can say is that it hasn't been tumultuous, and that we've had that your parents have hated me or tried to sabotage our marriage, because we've heard stories. We've seen movies, we've read stuff, and talked to maybe a coworker or a friend or whatever that have had major issues with in-laws, or whatever. And like I said, I thank God that that's not our story. But even with that, I can remember, back one time when we actually had to move. We moved in with your parents, and I don't know if we ended up there maybe like a month or so, maybe, because you had started a job over here. And we just kind of needed some help for a bit. and we came over, and this was at the point to where, like I said,
and that's when we rented the house 2 houses down. Is that during that time?
No. This is when we were in Hilton Head.
Okay.
And then you lost your job over there, but then within a matter of weeks, I think you found a job over here. Mm-hmm. So we needed to come over here to kind of gather ourselves, regroup, and your parents graciously invited us into their home.
Yeah.
Until you could get some paychecks stacked up so we could go back home and sustain.
Right.
And I know that was a very, now that I look back on it, you can kind of see the picture clearer when you're not sitting in it.
Yeah.
That was a very kind of emotional time for me, having to come and to, live with somebody else as much as I, loved them, and as much as I knew that they were supporting us to the fullest. Yeah. It's kind of hard to be in your own place for a while at that point, and then now have to come. And because sometimes it's a difference. There's a lot. There's a lot of times. A lot of times there's a difference with you living with your in-laws versus just seeing them on a couple times a month or just whatever. Yeah. But even still, your dad had the type of personality where whatever he was pretty much feeling, that's what was coming out of his mouth.
No filter.
No filter. And
till this day, still don't have no filter. He has. My dad has learned how to use his words a lot better. So he has a pretty good vocabulary now. But then it was just certain things he said and he said it.
He said it and he said it how he said it.
And he looked at you like what?
Yeah, and for me, like I said, that was a little emotional time for me too. So and when I say emotional, that means that my feelings was all over my sleeves.
Yeah,
all over my sleeves, all over my body, all over everywhere, y'all.
And this is the thing, and because we moved in with them, that was a layer that you went a little deeper in that you didn't have to do before. Yeah. But it was us going in humbly. They graciously let us in. Yeah. We humbly, went in, but we knew it was rules and so that was a part behind the curtain you ain't know about. Right. Daddy J. And Daddy J kind of spoke his mind. Right. And then, because he saw you a little bit more, you heard his mind a little bit more.
I heard his mind a little bit more. Yeah, so needless to say, he kind of hurt my feelings.
But like you said, it was something that we did not plan. Yeah. It's just something that happened. Yeah. So, you have a lot of those times in your life, man, when you have so many different plans and you be quoting that scripture. The Lord said, write the vision and make it plain. We got 9,097 visions. We made it plain. Why we here again?
Well, that was because we hadn't learned whatever lesson that was that we needed to learn.
Well, I think it's this.
And we didn't grow. We didn't put in place the things that we needed to put in place to be successful from that lesson that we had to learn.
So, and I think a lot of times when we writing a vision, we got to be mindful of who vision it is, first of all. Yeah. So if it's a vision that God gave you, then you write it plain and clear. If it does not line up, some things will work out, some things won't. Yeah. And you just have to understand that. So now where we are in life now, we season. So we get you make 9,097 plans, visions, and you write them. 3 of them may work out. So we get that now, but we didn't get that then. But the entire lesson in it is to continue to write visions.
Right. But back to my story. Visionary. Thank you so much.
Shade I love you.
I love you so much. I love you so much.
Go on with your story.
So, me being in my feelings, or my feelings being on my sleeve, so it didn't have to even penetrate because it would just touch my skin, and I was emotional and feeling crying a little bit and coming and telling you, and I think your daddy just he said something that hurt my feelings, and kind of whatever, and then you being my husband, you want to make sure that your wife is all right in the situation. You yourself was probably going through stuff as well. Yeah. With having to have that on your back to now lost one job, but I have this one, which was actually a better opportunity anyway.
Yeah.
And so now I got to do what I need to do to get my family back in our home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, at that point, it wasn't even. I don't even think I was thinking clearly of how that was even affecting you as well. But at the end of the day, you know, I think we tried to have a conversation about it, and it kind of went left, and we ended up leaving. You remember that?
I don't.
We did. We ended up leaving, and we. I think we didn't talk for a couple of days, but then we went back over there.
Who?
To your parents' house.
Me, you, and the girl
All of
left?
us. Mm-hmm.
And then where we went at?
To my sister's house.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I think a couple of days, you know, kind of went by or whatever, and then we went back, and we did what we should have done even before we left. We should have sat down and stayed and explained, you know, how we were feeling. Tell them that we appreciate them for supporting us. We appreciate all that they were doing for us, and not just get so, like I said, emotions bring out a whole nother story. Emotions bring out a whole nother, you know, person. It may not even bring out what you're truly feeling because you're acting off of emotions. And at that time, like I said, I can look back now and see that because of the mental status that I was in at that point and how emotional I was, that was, you know, an emotional reaction to it.
Well, it's the situations that bring out
emotions.
So different situations, especially brand new ones you've never been a part of before, they bring out different emotions.
Yeah.
And your emotions come from your perspective of how you see life.
Right.
And that's why, you know, one of the things we always say is, you know, sometimes when you get angry or you're in a situation you've never been in before, just kind of, you know, let your emotions settle before you say something. Because a lot of people say stuff out of emotion, and then 15 minutes later, you really don't feel like that no more. But you done.
But you've said what you said,
so
and you can't take those words back.
And that's almost like taking a knife out and cutting a person because you think they did something, and then you find out they really didn't do it. You be like, oh, my
I'm
bad.
Sorry, but the person's over there bleeding.
They already bleeding.
What? That's what words do too. Yeah. Except, you know, and they may not be bleeding on the outside, but they're bleeding and hurting on the inside.
Yeah.
And so, excuse me, like I said, we were able to go back and sit down and have the conversation with them. So I could say how I felt or whatever. But the one thing that I do know, and look, you know, in hindsight, you know, as you grow and you learn and you mature, is that, you know, your dad came from a place of his demeanor, his actions, the way that who he was based on what he grew up. Or how he grew up,
right?
As well as your mom, as well as us. Yeah. We are all a product of, you know, what our environment, what we learn, where we come from.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So even in that, you know, thank God we were able to talk and we were able to, you know, mend that. And I was able to say how I felt, and you know, everybody was able to say how they felt. And so from that point on, even though he was, you know, would joke and say different things or whatever, I would joke right back with him. You know what I'm saying? So I learned to, in that time, I learned to completely and truly understand your dad's heart as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because even now, he'll try to act as hard as a brick.
When you get back to him,
he a gummy bear inside.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just with certain. My pops is a very, very protective.
Yeah.
He loves his family.
Yeah.
Like unconditionally.
He loves hard.
So, you know, us as a unit, he really, really loved us.
Yeah.
And they protected us. Sometimes I think they protected us from stuff we probably needed to be exposed to, so we wouldn't, you know, but that's neither here or there. But he protected us.
Yeah.
So that's where I get my protection from my family from.
Yeah.
You know, so I definitely don't knock it.
I see that. Yeah.
It's definitely a characteristic of his that I have that I do see in myself.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
sometimes y'all will tell me like you acting like your daddy.
Well, I've said that to you before. And, and you looked at me like, what are you saying? What does that mean? But I say that in a good way, in a loving way, because from that what I want to really get across is because that was a big lesson for us, that in that moment, even though this was, a somewhat tense situation, your family is your family. We had to come back and we had to make that right.
It had to get right
at that moment. You know what I'm saying? That was, I think for me, that was the first step of me learning how to face and communicate.
Gotta face.
Even though I was having a conflict within myself or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we sat there and, your mom said, Deirdra, if he say something that makes you uncomfortable or whatever, say something back. Of course, I wasn't going to be disrespectful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And never have and never will be. But at that moment, we had to sit down and we had to have that conversation.
Yeah.
We had to communicate and we had to sit there and we had to listen. And when you listen, like we always say, when you're listening, not only in a marriage, but this should be in any other relationship and conversation, listen to understand,
right?
Not to respond,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And so for me, excuse me, that was a place of maturity.
Absolutely.
That was a place of growth.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so that led to a very, I guess, rich and rewarding relationship.
Yeah.
With, I can say, with my in-laws or my other set of parents.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. Because from that I think that moment right there could have made us or broke us.
Right.
That could have changed the trajectory of not only our lives but our kids' lives.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we didn't make that right then that could have left us being bitter, not communicating, which meant, my kids ain't coming over there. All that stuff can spew from just one miscommunication or one misunderstanding if you don't talk about it and you don't get it right. So I think because that happened, that led us to be even stronger. Yeah. And for our kids and to have the relationship that they do with them today.
Right.
For us to have the relationship that we do today with your parents.
Yeah.
From going on family vacations with them, from just going on trips with just me and you and them two, and having a ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not trying, nothing that's forced. Up playing spades all night. I'm talking about like to the middle of the wee mornings, y'all. Yeah. Straight his daddy talking trash and I'm talking trash right back to him.
And me and my mama just looking like Joker. We tired. Y'all around here talking trash. It's 2:00 in the morning. I don't want to play spades no more. I want to go to sleep.
He really did, y'all.
But we did.
He really did.
But
he really did.
It's a joint effort from everybody.
Yeah.
Even with your parents, your dad and your mom not married.
Yeah.
And they married significant others. So
yeah.
Having that whole mixed family thing and the kids and all that stuff, I didn't come from that, so I didn't see that.
Right.
It helped me understand a lot of who you were.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of things, that help you be confident of who you were.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also some stuff that, you had unanswered questions.
Mm-hmm.
You had thoughts about stuff, all these other things. And the one thing that I can say now is that, it never stopped. If we have not learned anything, me and my wife, what we do, we don't let too much stuff grow underneath our feet.
We can't.
But here's the other part to that. We don't let it grow up under our feet, so we try to have a conversation with whoever, and this don't even have to be family members.
Mm-hmm.
But the other party have to be willing to talk back with us.
Right.
You know, and what we found in our years of living and having different friends is that we have friends who don't like to be in uncomfortable positions.
Mm-hmm.
So they avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
So you never had a conversation, never have nothing. And then, we know people who have in-laws like this. Mm-hmm. They don't want to have a conversation about the issue. They don't want to have a conversation about the problem. We just don't talk about that. Mm-hmm. And then we wait till everybody, a week or two, and then we just see each other as if nothing ever happened.
Right.
And that to me is so unhealthy because you can never have a genuine relationship with no one.
Right.
And that comes from a place, y'all. That just didn't birth right there.
Yeah.
That come from a deep place.
Yeah.
So our biggest thing right now, man, especially what we have going on in the world right now with COVID-19, is that you got time to spend, and y'all have heard us say this. You are basically in the house with your family.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to spend time.
Yeah.
You got to talk. You can't put it up you just have to talk.
Yeah.
One of our biggest things is, just like Deirdra said, you have to listen. You have to listen to understand and not to respond. And most people listen to respond because you saying what you're saying, I'm gonna come right back at you with a point.
I'm sitting here
thinking
my comeback on you while you talking to me, so I'm not even understanding.
But one of the things,
comprehending what you're saying.
One of the things we always say is, and I remember telling you this a long time ago, because I'm a big fella and because I'm a man, don't mean if you slap me in my face, not with all your power, but some of your power, it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
And what people do is they do stuff to people and then want to tell them how they feel about it.
Yeah.
And you can't do that.
Yeah.
You don't know what people dealing with how people. The one thing that I can say, me and your dad have had so many great conversations about the past, how he grew up, how he did stuff, it's just amazing to hear his story, but see him continue to crave, to want to grow, to be better, to be more successful, to be. When I tell you this man is not a quit, this man will keep moving and moving and moving and going and going and going. Yeah. He's not gonna let nothing, stop, even if it don't happen right for him. So he continues to move, and that's why he's successful the way he is today. So,
But I think the greatest part of that for me in seeing that is that because subconsciously, whether people want to admit it or not, they want their parents to love their spouse as much as, as they love them. And like I said, everybody don't have that testimony.
No.
But that's the one thing that, again, I thank God for, is that I do have that testimony because my parents, they love you. They appreciate you. They're proud of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not afraid to say it.
And I think that comes from a place of you are their child.
Yeah.
And they see you happy.
Yeah.
And it's not a front. It's not a fake. It's not a nothing like that.
Yeah.
So they didn't know what they expect. Although they saw me from the beginning, they was like, yeah, he seems like a nice dude who come from a nice family. Yeah. They ain't know Jay had a little issue where he looked, they ain't know that stuff. So, but time, consistency, growth, that will tell. So they respond until they got to know me. They respond off of you, and as well as my parents. Until y'all actually had the conversations, had it. So now here's my question, and this is what I want to bring up. What about the families with the in-laws who do not get along at all? Who mama don't like the woman that your son married? Who mama don't like the daughter that your what you do with that? The daddy, what do you do with that?
Yeah. I think we hit the nail on the head when we said when we started out as saying that you got to communicate. You got to communicate. Don't not communicate because you are afraid of what might be said, or you don't want to deal with what might come out, because at the end of the day, in all actuality, those are your husband's parents, or those are your wife's parents. That's her family. And so at some point you're going to have Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, whatever. You're going to have all kind of things. So for you to avoid it and then come together and there's so much tension in the room that you could cut it with a knife, that's not good, and it's not healthy, like you said. So you have to find a way. Of course, both parties have to be willing to want to come together. Granted, it may not be that at the end of the story that you're gonna be besties and cool and go shopping together and go on trips together or whatever, but come to some type of medium, some type of situation to where you all can be respectful and cordial with one another.
Okay, so what I want to do is
Okay.
take 2 steps backwards
Okay.
off of what you said.
Okay.
So I would say that would be step 2.
Okay.
I would say step 1 is husband and wife, y'all need to get y'all crap together first.
Yeah. Yeah.
The husband and wife have to get their stuff together. You cannot go trying to talk to your in-laws and y'all not on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
So if me and you ever went to your parents or my, and this is the greatest thing about my parents and your parents, for some ungodly, they knew, they had faith in us and our relationship. I think before we knew it, and even before they knew it.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that they would say was, "I hear what you're saying. You can vent. Here go a sandwich. Carry your behind back home.
Go back home.
That ain't what I'm looking for."
Even when you call my daddy to try to
called
talk shade to me.
Boy, listen to me. I called Deirdra daddy, and I said, "Hey." He said, "Hey, son, what's up?" I said, "Pop." So, you know, I'm just really at a loss of words because, you know, I've been trying to implement stuff for, you know, the cleaning to go around the house, and, you know, we trying to set up certain things, and she just not following in. How did you get her to clean, you know, when she was at the house? This man started laughing. He said, "Clean?" I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Clean, man. Didi ain't clean when she was here. She did what she had to do, and, you know."
I did.
I said,
let me call my daddy.
I said, no, don't call him.
What you won't do.
I said,
let me tell you what
listen,
you won't do is
I
talk
said,
trash about me.
Pop.
That's what you won't do.
Pop. I said, so you knew when I married her
that's what
that she was going to be. He said, "Hey, man, you got to work it out. That's just one part of it." I said, "Hey, man, you got to work it out." Man, that ain't no good advice, man. And he just laughed. He said, "Son," he said some great encouraging words to me. But at the end of the day, he said, "If you need to, you know, come get this sandwich. Get a sandwich and chips. We'll talk. He going your behind back home." I just didn't get it. So even in that state, they just knew. They had faith in us that I don't think that we knew we had. And then I think they had faith in us that they didn't even know they had for us. So here we are. We have great relationships with our in-laws. Like I said, we have our different titles that we call them, but it was definitely effort put forth on all parties' part. And there was, we thank God that it wasn't that tough. We didn't have real hard stuff, but we did have hard stuff.
Right.
But the people who do not have that, that's what we want to kind of throw some equip out there. So the first thing I would say, the first thing I would say is you and your spouse have to be on one page.
Yeah.
If you didn't see a good relationship or a working relationship growing up, then 9 times out of 10 when you get married, if you're married, then you know you're not going to be able to give that if you never had it. You definitely can learn it if you're willing to learn it, but you definitely can't give it if you did not have that. So you can grow and have that, and then when it comes to your parents and your in-laws, you have to go to them with certain things. You have to be on one page, on one accord with your household.
Right.
If your household is funky and is spread out all over the place, and that's how your parents and or your in-laws are, then what's going to wind up happening is you're going to be doing the listening to respond thing and not listening to understand.
Yeah.
So you're just going to want your way. And what happens when people listen to respond is that they listen because it's a debate and it's not actually you're not actually putting forth effort to solve something.
Right, to resolve the issue.
So in any situation, when you have any type of stuff going on, you have to be willing, you have to go in wanting to resolve.
Yeah.
It has to be a solution. You have to want to resolve whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for the people who do not have that, this is what we would suggest. If you're having issues in your relationship with your spouse, you have to be on one accord with that first. And the one of the best ways that I can tell you, or we can tell you to do that, is you have to create what works. If you never saw something and you try to make it work, not knowing how to make it work, then you need to get equipped on how to make it work.
Okay.
Second of all, you need to create. If you had seen relationship stuff but it just didn't work for them, or it worked 50-50, or whatever the case is, you're not your parents.
Yeah.
And who you married is not your dad or your mom. So it's brand new. Mm-hmm. So for brand new stuff, you have to create and develop its own recipe for the brand new stuff.
Well, okay. So the first thing you said is you, as the husband and the wife, have to be on one accord.
Yeah.
As always.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's first priority.
Absolutely.
Next, I think, what we talked about even in our situation is don't add fuel to that fire as far as when you come together to communicate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Solution minded.
Don't ignite and make the situation even more volatile.
Yeah.
By you going there and you hollering and you know what I'm saying, and you being extra and you adding fuel to the fire, and now they're pissed with you as well.
Yeah.
And so now everybody is on 20 and nothing is going to get accomplished with it.
Nothing gets resolved. Everybody hollering back and forth, debating, trying to prove that their point is their way or the best way.
Yeah.
And that's not what it is.
And like you said, once those words come out of your mouth, you cannot reinsert them back in there.
Yeah.
Which means you can't take them back. You've hurt their feelings, and they've already heard it. It's already come out.
Can I go a step further? When we say hurt the feelings, that is exactly what it is. But what if we change the words to you damaged the relationship?
That's good.
When you say stuff out of emotion, and it's come from an unhealthy place, you damage the relationship. So just think about a vehicle that you run into a tree. No matter how big or small the tree is, you hit it. Mm-hmm. But every now and then you got to pass the same tree all the time, and you got to have an encounter with it. Yeah. But because you don't know how to solve, or put something in place, go around the tree, go a different path, however it is, you keep hitting it. Well, if you hit your car with this one tree for 10, 15 years, at some point in time, your car is not going to work like it's supposed to no more. Right. It's no different with a relationship. When you use unhealthy words, when you use emotional words that are not just damage stuff, that hurt people's feelings, then what happens is you damage the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the thing. Even if you say you apologize for doing it,
that sting is still there.
You can't take and once you stab me, you help me patch it up and stop the bleeding. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when I look at it, I know you did that.
I know you did it. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if it's habitual. So if you say this, but you're not healthy in your emotional relationship with your emotional part of you, if you're not in a good place, if you don't know how to manage that, then what happens is you keep sticking me in different spots. Yep. Because of your emotions, you don't know how to control it. Yeah. So what happens is you just say whatever, and then you apologize. Yeah. At some point in time, that damages the relationship to where, okay, it's certain things I can't say to you. I can't be around you all the time like that no more, because you stuck me enough times. If I just keep coming and let you stick me, then that makes me kind of crazy. I need to make better decisions because now I'm getting stuck and it's taken away from me.
Yeah.
And our relationship is being damaged.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, you have to pull away from a relationship in order to reserve the relationship in some tact. So we stay connected, but we're not connected like we used to be. Mm-hmm. Because one of us had to pull out until something happens. A conversation or something has to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Also, I think you should realize that my parents are my parents. I can't expect your parents to be my parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially at the beginning.
Right.
If I expect that and then they're not, then I'm like...
You disappointed.
I'm disappointed. Right.
Yeah.
So let it be what it is. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn your parents for who they were. The same as you had to learn my parents for who they were.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the expectation.
I'm not saying... Right, that's the expectation.
And we've actually talked about that in previous because I've said, remember when I called my mom and asked her for the book because you didn't have the book? Yeah. Because I expected you to act like my mama did.
Exactly.
So that's the only thing I saw.
Exactly. And truth be told that you can't put that stressor right there on yourself or on them. You know what I'm saying? So it's about... they're going to be different because they are different people.
Right.
Thank God, like I say, and I'll keep saying it, it feels like the same relationship or the same, I can call your mama, I can call my mama and my daddy and have a conversation with them. Yeah. I don't have to have to switch up that conversation if I call your parents. Yeah. I can have the exact same conversation, whether it be ratchet, whether it be, and I'm just for real. I can be myself around the same self that I am around my parents. Yeah. I can call and be that same person with your parents.
Because they respect and accept you for who you are.
Yeah, as well as
even if they don't. And here's the thing: even if they don't agree, with who we are, decisions we making, or whatever the case is,
they tell us though respectfully.
If they feel like it's going to damage something, or they see that we didn't see, if they don't know the outcome, because at the end of the day. When we make decisions, we have a reason in our mind why we made this decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't talk about it with everybody. Yeah. But if we have somebody in our circle that is concerned, they may not know the whole story. So they may say, hey, at the end of that road is no more road. Mm-hmm. Y'all might want to be careful. Oh, yeah, we know we're going to meet such and such at the corner. Then we're going to make that right and go this way. Yeah. And they be like, oh, okay, we just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
I didn't want to, because at the end of the day, because we're connected to them, they have some responsibility to, because if we run off the road, they're going to be like, I knew that was I should have said something. Yeah. But if we did not have the relationship that we have with them, it's some parents or some children who can't even come to their parents and say nothing.
You're right.
Because they get cussed out.
Yeah, you're right. Because
stay in a child's place. Right. I'm grown, boy, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I feel like all this stuff they are all learning experiences.
Absolutely.
So if I don't know, tell me why you're doing it, because I might have this same situation come up.
Yeah.
And I might have to, that expands, it's a part of growth.
Yeah.
So every now and then you can't say, some stuff your child they're not supposed to know at that time, and they don't have a reason to know. But in 2020, y'all, we don't know what kids supposed to know now. I know we just be as transparent as real with our kids as we can. Yeah. We have our grandkids now, so we are real with them. Yeah. And we deal with situations or subjects when they come up.
Yeah.
And we don't step out of place, because if a situation come up and they ask us a question, we go to the parents first.
Yeah.
And then we say, hey, so and so asked us this.
Yeah.
And I told them to hold up. So, Deidra's out there talking to them now, but I wanted to know if y'all cool with us talking to them about this.
Yeah.
You know, with our grandsons, with Travis and Brittany, with Taj and Tristan, I have my way of how I would do stuff if I was Travis. Don't really talk to him about that, because I ain't never had no sons, first of all. So he got me one up there. Mm-hmm. He got 2 boys. I ain't had no boys. Mm-hmm. I had all girls.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, whether I want to say it or not, he's an expert with boys. I'm not.
Yeah.
Because I ain't got that.
Yeah.
But I got all these. Hey, think his hair need to get cut now. Why you waiting to get his hair cut? He had his reasons.
And we respected that.
We respect that.
Yes.
So it's his son. It's his child.
Yeah.
I don't think I never said anything. I might have said something to Brittany or Trav. I'm not positive.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I can feel however I want to feel.
But those are his.
Those are his boys.
And those are his parents.
Yeah.
But I think that and y'all, we getting off, but I promise we're gonna go back. But that just says to now that we're in the role of being somebody's in-laws.
Exactly.
In-laws, right? So we're Travis's in-laws. We're Marion's in-laws. So it's like, even with that, I think we try to take care of that relationship.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We take them in not as, okay, that's just Brittany's husband or Brianna's husband.
Travis and Marion, they're my sons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we care about them just as much, if not more, than we care about our own children, because they're in that same space. We encourage them even the more. We ain't trying to meddle in relationships or nothing like that or whatever.
Right.
But we're trying to encourage growth. We're trying to support.
Right.
We're trying to undergird to do whatever it is that we can to make sure that they're okay.
Right.
It ain't about well, we gonna take Brittany's side because she our daughter. We not gonna take no. And all of them know that off the rip.
Yeah.
We gonna tell the truth. We gonna give our opinion. We gonna if they come for it or whatever.
If they ask, we tell our opinion.
Right.
We say what we gotta say.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we still know how to say, hey, you guys, just like our parents did, hey, come over here and get this ham sandwich right quick. You good? Vince, say what you gotta say. Now carry your tail home. Because some stuff we can help you with.
Yeah.
Other stuff, we ain't got a clue.
Yeah.
But what we can do is give you a safe place to come, eat your sandwich, say what you need to say, go on back home and handle your business. And that's how we handle it. Because we don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
And we understand that. But we're smart enough to know that we can open up our door, our kids, even Travis and all our children, they can come here.
Yeah.
Vent, say what you need to say, call me. But at the end of the day, you got to go back home.
Got to go,
Now, let me tell you where the issue may come in at if you're the parent who says, don't come over here with that. Mm-hmm. Then they going somewhere.
They going somewhere. Yes.
They going somewhere. And I'm going to leave that there.
Leave that right there. Yeah.
So even now, we're still parenting.
Yeah.
We just parent at a different place now.
Right.
And that's it ain't no book out for that.
Right.
So, let me rephrase. There are books out for that. Yeah. But it's still something that you have to create and develop.
Yeah.
So you have to create and develop where you stand, where you don't stand.
Yeah.
You know, what you can say and what you can't say.
Yeah.
Because that's their lives.
Yeah.
We're a part of their lives, but that's their lives. And they have to, at the end of the day, we never want our children and their families to have to depend on us for everything. Mm-hmm. We need them to be independent and be able strong enough to make good decisions because they got a lot of life to live.
Absolutely.
And we ain't finished living our life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we definitely are a primary option for them.
Yeah.
And that's what we always want to be, a primary option. If you need us, we will help you. We will say stuff. But when I tell you, me and my wife have more meetings than anybody in the world. Because even if that come up, girl, what we going to say, how we going to say it, and what we ain't finna say.
Yeah. Because,
of course, by now, y'all should know us by now, I'm the one who would go a little deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I go.
We be here in Georgia and he be in Las Vegas.
And sometimes I be violating. I be just saying all kind of stuff.
Here's a string back.
Yeah. Amen. So she has to guide us through some of that stuff. Most of the stuff. All of the stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Be real, baby. Be real. So what we're getting back to, as I stated, is how do you break down that the parts to building a better relationship if that relationship is rocky with your in-laws. Consider how much time you spend together or what you're doing. Some people you might can't, after that conversation has happened, to trying to get an understanding about what the big blow up was or what the big issue is. You know, at the end of the day, you got to be mature enough to sit down and have the conversation. And like we've both been saying, Sit down and conversate, communicate, and listen to understand, not to respond. That's the biggest thing. Find out what's going on.
The whole story.
Take and like we said before, take the high ground. Don't try to throw low blows and stuff on the sly, as we used to say it.
Yeah.
You trying to tear down, because that ain't what you're trying to do. Because if that's the approach that you take, that's the results you're going to get.
And do not
negative.
And listen, if you're talking to your son or your daughter about their relationship, do not put their spouse down.
Yeah.
Do not put that. No matter what the child is saying to you, do not put them down.
Yeah.
You have to think solution minded.
Yeah.
So you have to. If you do not have a solution, then you don't give that type of advice.
Yeah.
So where's that now? And you can. And I know some people probably saying, but I knew when she married him, he wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
And he ain't gonna be nothing, and he ain't never gonna be nothing.
But the truth
and
is, she love him. So what you gonna do?
At the end of the day,
do?
You knew that the first day she brought him home.
Right.
And now the relationship went from her bringing him home, introducing,
to they married
and
they got
kids.
3 kids.
You're not influencing nothing.
Right.
So if you're not gonna help the situation, then just don't say nothing.
Yeah.
But do not exclude yourself from them because you do not know how to govern yourself with your words.
Yeah.
Figure out they have to learn some way. So that means you need to grow as a parent, even in this, to figure out how to communicate with your child to help them solve whatever's going on or see it different so they can make a clear decision about something.
Yeah.
You still play a part in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't get, your responsibility is still there because your kids is gone. Don't mean you out and you living. You still have a responsibility to some extent.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to say, point them in the right. You have to be able to do something.
Yeah. And just to flip back to the perspective of the children or the husband and the wife dealing with the in-laws, to flip it back to that perspective. I think one thing for us, after we had that conversation, it was a little, kind of awkward a little bit, for the first couple times or whatever. But at the end of the day, we still spent time with them.
Yeah.
We still went over. You know what I'm saying? They still came to us once we moved back
Absolutely.
home. You know what I'm saying? We still had that interaction. We still, they still wanted to be, involved with our children. We still wanted them to be involved with our children. So none of that ever had a chance to linger.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's what you don't want to do. Don't let it linger into you not talking and they not talking and you're not allowing them to speak to the kids or talk to the kids or whatever, because that bad behavior can flow over into the kids, and now they're watching you have a non-existent relationship with your in-laws.
Yeah, absolutely.
With their grandparents. And so how does that affect their life? Because it's not just about you. Yeah. So I think that was it for us as well. Again, we ended up, this ended up in a good way for us, because we went on vacations with all our kids and your parents and had an absolute ball, an absolute ball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. One thing about my mother-in-law that is absolutely crazy is, when we used to be together and if we went to the store or stuff like that or whatever, people would think, like I said, I think even at church at one point, they thought that I was her daughter, not that you were her son.
Yeah.
Which was absolutely hilarious, because Johnny used to act. He used to be like, "What do you mean they think you, my mom's daughter? I'm her son. You not her daughter." And don't get jealous. You should be excited about the fact that people think that that's just how close we are. So even though, like I said, his mom is I know that they're going out of town before he knows.
Yeah. And
then I get backlash from him about that. Why do you know that my parents are going out of town and I don't even know it?
Yeah, and the truth is because because y'all have a good relationship.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Y'all have heard us talk about us going on vacation with my parents.
Yeah.
And y'all probably saying, well, y'all ain't said nothing about y'all going on vacation with, Deirdra parents.
But
and
we have.
We have. We have, and yeah,
We have.
yeah.
We had a good time.
We did. We
We
have
had a good time. With everything, it's not always going to be, you know, oh, we just had a magnificent time every single moment or whatever. It's your family. So sometimes you may have a few challenges along the way, but at the end of the day, our decision is to work it out and keep it moving. Work it out and keep it moving. Talk about it, come to an understanding of it. This is why I felt how I felt. You know, why did you feel how you feel? Okay, all right, we're gonna be all right. That's not what we wanted to do, or this is what we wanted to do, and you may have your feelings about that, but at the end of the day,
yeah,
we still went. We still made whatever work that needed to work.
Yeah.
The kids still had an amazing time, and we got to spend time together.
And that was the biggest thing.
That was the biggest thing. And I think with that, babe, not to cut you off, but it says, you know, when I was reading some stuff the other day, it was just saying, like, if you know that a weekend is all you're going to be able to do that weekend.
Yeah.
Don't try to schedule the family vacation for a week if you know that's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Now, be completely honest. And then you schedule it, and then you be completely miserable after the weekend is over and y'all got 4 more days.
Absolutely.
Be honest and be realistic, and let that relationship be known that, okay, y'all might be going on a week's vacation, or y'all might be going on 2 weeks, but we'll only be able to come for a weekend.
Yeah.
Or whatever. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You want it to be peaceful, you want it to be harmonious, but at the end of the day, you want it
to be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Listen,
be honest about it.
You know your family.
Yeah.
So more I won't even say you know your family. I know,
yourself,
us.
I
know us, and when I tell you I'm a drama-free dude, I promise you, I cannot express that enough. I never did drama, and I don't know if that had anything to do with my it probably did have a lot to do with my upbringing with my parents, because of my dad upbringing, he was very protective. So when we did family stuff, it was me, my mom, and my sisters.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that we did.
Yeah.
So we did other stuff, but most of it was that.
Yeah.
So I'm just drama free. You didn't quite come from that background. You had a little bit of drama. And when I say drama free, I don't mean nothing never happened. Stuff did happen. Mm-hmm. But from your side, stuff happened a little bit more frequently. Mm-hmm. It was not always bad stuff. It kind of got intense. Now, at that point in time, I was the type dude that, y'all, I'm a thinker. So if it looks like it's finna go down, if something about to happen or something about to be said, then I'm like, okay, get stuff, let's go. And nothing might don't happen. That's how I was. I'm not like that anymore. But I was very protective of my girls and what they saw. Now, I can honestly say a couple of the times the drama stuff came from me. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason. So thinking too far out the box.
You got to be responsible.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff that can happen, but and I said that part to say it, because when we first started, you couldn't talk, you couldn't communicate, you cried, you didn't know how to handle certain things, and I think you was kind of drama free too, but I don't know if that's how you grew up, when stuff happened. But it got to a point to where we created our own thing.
Yeah.
And then once we created that, then we have certain situations, certain things that we will do, and certain things that happen, and then we will just respond to it the best way we think we would. Now, everything that we responded to, the way we did, I'm not saying that it was right. Mm-hmm. But we did respond in the best way we thought we knew how. Yeah. And as we learn, we
when you
change
know better,
stuff.
you do better. Yeah. You know better, you do better.
So, at the end of the day, man, I mean, growth has to happen. You have to be transparent, about the situation.
Yeah,
and you got to understand. You got to understand, sons, daughters who are married, you got to understand the only person that you can change is who?
Is yourself.
You change, you worry about changing yourself, and then certain things will change.
Yeah. And even if you are in relationships where, your husband's parents or your wife's parents are just all over the place. And like I said, you take the higher ground. You be the bigger person. You try to be, to make peace. At the end of the day, it takes two to have a relationship. And if the other side or the other person, if they don't want to come to the table and resolve the issues, because at the end of the day, it's really not about you if there are children involved.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, the children are going to become the pawn in the whole relationship. If you're trying to be nasty, just because your in-laws are nasty, or you trying to be nasty because her in-laws are nasty. At the end of the day, you just have to figure out a way to come together, both parties, and say, hey, we may not agree on everything, and at the end of the day, that's okay. But at the end of the day, let's love each other, respect one another, to know that we can have a relationship, because I'm going to be a part of your son's life, or I'm going to be a part of your daughter's life, and we really want to have, that connection with you, with our parents.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. And like I said, if it's not at that point, if it's fresh on you, or you still going through it, you being nasty because nasty is being given to you, that ain't gonna make things no better anyway. That's not a resolution to anything. So try to come together. Again, it takes two sides. Try to come together and come to some type of resolution. It may not lead to you taking family trips together, or you taking, trips where it's just you and your husband and your husband's parents or your parents or whatever. It may not even be that. But at the end of the day, find a way to get along. Find a way to love one another, because despite flaws, because all of us have them, but find a way to come to a medium or median.
Yeah.
So you won't be living in stress, because at the end of the day, Johnny's parents are his parents. He came out of them.
And they ain't gonna change.
And that ain't gonna change nothing. So I can't be over here pouting because he want to have a relationship with them, but I don't want him to, or I don't want to because of whatever situation.
Yeah. And I
at
promise
the end of the day, my parents are my parents.
I can't say she can't have a relationship with her parents.
Yeah. And so y'all got to come together, like I say, and find a median and find a way to, ask God to soften each other's hearts and come together, especially with things happening just out of the blue, like this pandemic coming on.
Yeah.
It makes you kind of change your perspective about how you see life and how what you hold dear to your heart.
Well, what I can say is, and we will continue to tell you guys this: you can't, if you're not one in your household, then if you can't decide the hard stuff with your relationship with your wife or your husband, if you can't get on one page with your wife or your husband, if y'all can't come to some type of solutions to get stuff in some type of line, order, structure, then no, it's not going to work with your in-laws. Yeah. I can tell you that. It's not going to work. So they have to see you are one for them to change their perspective of what they see. Yeah. If they see you are the daughter who's always being hurt by the man, and when you have a conversation with them, you always saying that you hurt by your husband, then no, she not going to like your husband. Right. Daddy ain't either. And there ain't pretty much nothing you could do about it.
Vice versa.
So, and vice versa. Yeah. But if y'all are on one accord, if y'all fix some stuff, if y'all do some stuff, then they will see it different. Yeah. We've actually seen couples come together in counseling session with us, have issues with their in-laws, but because they got on one accord, somehow their parents,
it affected it.
And they had to be on they had to. Yeah. Because now it's not her coming saying stuff, it's them being together as one, and they saying that, okay, this is how it's going to be. Yeah. This is how we would like it to be. Yeah. We want you to agree, So they working out, they coming up with solutions on how certain things have to work. But it's no way that I can go and say something and talk about you to my parents and then expect them. Well, I ain't gonna say my parents because they'll take your side.
You know what?
So
you're absolutely
that's
crazy.
a bad example.
That's not a bad example.
That is. That's a bad
But
example.
for some people, that is true. That you go over and you vent because we went through something, and you leave that baggage over there, and they don't know how to throw that out.
Yeah.
So now they hold that, and when they see me, it's a totally different.
They feel
demeanor,
a little different way,
or they feel a different way. The
they
same
look at
way
you.
that it could be with us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I firmly believe, that. Even when I can go back to this, and not trying to throw no shade, but even in the point of when I got pregnant, and when I came home from school that day, and my mom said, well, Johnny's mom called and said that, he said it's not his baby. You know what I'm saying? From that point on, I think that my posture towards you could have changed my mom's mind.
Yeah.
About how she felt about you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because, I didn't throw no tantrum and holler and cuss you out and, just send you to all damnation. It was the fact of that I was like, okay. Because inside I knew that was fear speaking out of you, and that wasn't who you were. So even, I did know that.
Okay.
Don't you start.
Okay.
I did know that. I did know that that's where it was coming from. That's why I was able to be okay at that moment in my spirit.
Your mama
and that because she saw me in a posture of that I still knew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't cussing you out. I wasn't going to her saying, but I still love him and I know he's just fearful and did it. No, but I didn't do the opposite.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's why when you started coming back around, she didn't welcome you with no shade.
No, she wasn't nasty.
You see what I'm saying? She wasn't nasty to you.
I think your mama kind of liked me though.
Anyway, y'all, you're crazy. Like you're crazy.
She was a little upset you got to me before she did.
My Jesus.
I'm just saying. Listen.
You're
so
crazy. So
what I thought about when you said that is, I believe she also knew who her child was.
Yeah.
Even if she didn't have the relationship with you that she thought she should have had at the time, or she might have beaten herself up. It's so much stuff going to this stuff, y'all.
Yeah.
And we're gonna end. We might need to come back with a part 2 with this, but it's so much stuff that goes in this because her growing up, her life, how she saw stuff, how her parents were. It's a lot of stuff that happened that we still don't know.
Yeah.
That became an ingredient to the product that she is.
Yeah.
So at some point in time when she said Johnny mama said that the baby's not his, something inside of her had to say, but I know Deirdra. Because it could have went one or two ways. You fast, who you been out here sleeping with?
Yeah.
Because you're bringing Tom, Dick, and Harry home every time I turn around.
But
you're going out,
she knew her daughter.
You was dating me, and I was the only one.
Yeah.
And every time it was just me and you.
Yeah.
So she knew that stuff.
Yeah.
And thank God that she didn't panic to a place that she took the words that her stupid son-in-law said at the time and gave it to her mom, to my mama, which my mama didn't pay no attention to, but then gave it to your mama.
Yeah.
And then your mama still had enough focus to say, okay, I get what he's saying. I ain't seen Deirdra with nobody else.
Right.
So
it's coming from a place of fear.
Yeah, I kind of got to.
I know you lying.
Yeah, I kind of got to. Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff to plan that. Yeah. Whereas if it would have been somebody else, even if she wasn't stable in her life or focused to where she could think stuff through, she could have went a different route.
Yeah.
Because when she said, Johnny, mama said the baby ain't yours. You little such and such. What you been around here doing? Who you been sleeping with? You just around here. Now you got somebody baby and you don't know who it is. And then that could have affected you.
That I didn't have that.
Yeah, so that could have affected you. Yeah. And then stuff would have just went.
Yeah.
But because everything was handled the way it was.
Yeah.
Because words were being watched, what was said.
Yeah.
Because at that time, emotions didn't speak out of emotions and just said whatever came. Because all that stuff was being governed, the situation didn't spin out of place.
Yeah.
And you didn't get stuck with knife and then had to be bandaged back up. So even though it was a pain, it wasn't a pain from your mother. Yeah. You know, it wasn't a pain from my mother.
It was a pain from you.
But you just said you knew it was sin. I didn't stick you with a knife. I was a little butter knife. I slapped you.
No.
I slapped you with a little butter knife.
And now I'm going to stab you for real. Mo, we got to get out of here.
We got to go.
We got to get out of here.
All right.
We just want to give a great, big, absolutely humongous shout out, love out to our parents.
Absolutely.
For being great parents, for being great in-laws or in-loves or however you want to say it. Extra set of parents. For being great people who always support us. Whether it was with money, whether it was with their ear, whether it was with their time. Yeah, suggestions. Even if it was just clothes for the kids.
Sitting on the couch.
Watching the kids. Yeah. Just whatever. You know, we thank y'all and we love y'all.
And we don't take that for granted.
We don't take it for granted.
We've never taken that for granted. And we really, really, really appreciate y'all.
And they listen. They listen to this podcast. Because they call and they have us hollering about what we said that they never knew, that they just were not praise Jesus. Yeah. So we just want to say that. And when we able to write that $1 million check to both of y'all, to all of y'all, we will. We will.
And this is what I want to say for all the
what you want to say?
The couples, all the people who listening who didn't quite have the support or don't quite have the support. That's not your end.
Right.
It's not the end. Like we said, you have the power to change one person.
Yeah, and that's
yourself.
Yeah.
Even when you have a child, you have total control over your kid. From 0 to 3 months. Once your baby start noticing stuff, that percentage goes down quickly. And now in 2020, shoot, by the time they 1 year old, you know, you probably got 50% control, if that, and that wavers. So, and what I mean by control, it means totally controlling what your child does, says, sees, everything. Because they respond off of what they're given from their environment and from you.
Yeah.
And what you allow in their environment.
Yeah.
So
just try to make good choices.
Make good choices.
Yeah, we gonna always, y'all. That's what we say on a regular to ourselves. And our children.
We strive to make great choices, and they're not always right.
Yeah,
you know,
but we learn it. We take the L, and that's the lesson. Not
and
the
we
loss.
Learn, and we keep it
moving. And for you, one last thing, if you find yourself in a situation to where your in-laws, you've tried to love and talk and communicate, and they don't want to meet you at the table. At the end of the day, you only have control over yourself.
Yeah.
So guess what? If it's a relationship that's toxic to your well-being and to your family, and you and your husband on the same page, and whether it's his parents that's acting crazy, immature, whatever, all over the place, or if it's your side or his side, whichever side. If you've tried to make amends and you've tried all those things to communicate and understand and talk and come up with a way to make things work or just whatever, and they are still stuck on doing what they want to do or whatever, then at some point it comes a time where you have to choose happiness and joy in your household and your family. And at that point, then it's, okay, well, you have made the decision to have a negative life or a joyless or, you know, life or do whatever it is that you're dealing with or whatever. And I've tried, or we've tried time and time again to bring this relationship in. Right, we've tried to pull the relationship in and to make us better as a whole. And at some point, like we said, we don't do all that toxic, we don't do toxicity, negativity, all that stuff. We don't do it. So at the end of the day, if it comes to, you know, hey, I love you, but I'm gonna have to love you from a distance because we've tried to bring it together and bring it on in and to have a loving relationship. Then maybe they need some time on the outside to see if that's what they really want, because you can't let it affect your marriage. You can't let it affect your children
and your
well-being, your family.
And that does not mean In some situations, you will have to actually say the words.
Yeah.
But in most of the situations, you don't have to say nothing.
Yeah.
If you and your husband and your children are on one accord, then you begin to just make decisions that are best for your family.
For your family,
absolutely.
And then, because that's your first ministry.
When the grandparents want to see their grandkids, trust me, they go reach out.
Yeah.
And then you will have the power to be able to kind of control that part of it.
Yeah.
All right. If this is what we're gonna do, we're gonna meet at the park. We can do this, and then y'all can come see him. Like, it has to be something, but you figure out a solution to make that work. Unless it's something very, very violent and just out of the ordinary that a grandparent is. Yeah. Then you might have to shut the door.
Absolutely.
Until you actually see visible improvement. But past that, I would say don't let your parents see their grandkids. But I would definitely say if you have any type of issues like that, we would say definitely you can control that connection. So this is how we're going to do it. And I promise you, the conversation that you've been trying to have with them, you'll have the conversation. It'll come from them. Because at some point in time, listen, I'm tired of going to this park and looking at them for 45 minutes and then y'all leaving. Yeah. When I'm going to be able to get this, that, and the other, then y'all have the conversation. Yeah. So it can happen. Yeah. But at the end of the day, y'all, it has to start with you and your spouse. Yeah. Amen. Got to get that together first. You can't have that all crazy and then trying to put other stuff together and it's going to wind up crazy too. So get you and your wife or your husband, y'all get on one accord. Communicate, listen to understand and not respond. But the communication has to happen, and the listening is exactly as much important as the communicating is. Yeah. So you have to talk, but you have to listen in order to solve. Yeah. All right?
And we pray that there are more in-laws than outlaws.
I just got 2 mamas and 2 daddies. I got
You're crazy.
I got 2 daddies and 2 mamas, and I got a lot of family.
You know what? You're sickening. I'm going to tell y'all how to follow us, great people. Like I said, I hope that, like we said, we hope that something that we said helped to spark a conversation, helped to get on the road to renewing a relationship. Because we know it from our perspective, and we know our life. And like I say, I thank God every day that we've been blessed tremendously. With our relationships with our each other's parents. Okay, so we got to go, Mob. We got to go. It's time to go.
All right, y'all.
But before we close it out, guys, I wanted first and foremost thank you all for all of your support. Y'all be listening. We be seeing them numbers. We be seeing the interactions, and we are just completely humbled and grateful for your support. Keep following, keep liking, keep sharing. Keep doing the polls for us, because we're learning stuff about you all even more by the polls and stuff. Okay, so this is the way to be able to follow us, Deirdra and Johnny with Pillow Talk Moments with the Mobleys. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Moments with the Mobleys. We're on Twitter also at Mobley Moments. Please don't miss any future episodes. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Moments with the Mobleys.
Spotify.
And download on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. Y'all, it's everywhere.
Google us, y'all. Yeah. And if you forget any of this, you go to our website.
www.momentswiththemobleys.
And push a button. All the icons are there. Facebook, YouTube,
everything.
Spotify, just push a button, it'll take you right there.
And then one last thing, if you have any questions, you have any comments, you have any topic suggestions, please email us at momentswiththemobleys@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you guys, and we just say thank y'all again. We will forever be grateful and thankful for all of you just sharing in this journey with us. Mr. Mobley, you want to take us on out?
Absolutely. This has been Pillow Talk Moments with the Mobleys. I am Johnny Mobley Jr.
And I will forever be his wife, Deirdra Mobley.
You say forever?
Forever, ever?
We're something like a ordinary couple.
With extraordinary purpose.
Peace out, y'all. Have a great day.
Night, night.